receive an award, we would expect it to come in sometime in maybe March of next year. And we would look to close on our construction financing package by September of next year. And we would start construction that same month. Construction is projected to last 18 months, so that would wrap up in around March of 2026. We would start lease up of the property before that construction completion date, though. We'll have a housing lottery to kind of fairly select tenants, so it's not just first come, first serve. You want folks to have equal access and equal ability to get residency. And then we think it'll take about 6 months to get fully leased up. So by September of 2026, we should have a fully leased up and operational building. And then we would look to convert to our permanent financing sources by December of 2026. You can go to the, so this meeting comes at an opportune time because we are submitting to our primary financing agency in the next couple of months. And there's really a few ways that we can separate our projects from the other ones that are being submitted. So it's a very, very competitive funding application cycle. I think on average about 30 to 40% of projects submitted get awarded each year. So some of the things that you all can do to help support that and help make this the most competitive application possible, we've put on here. So as I mentioned before, we're going to be putting in an application for home funds. We'll be soliciting a pilot agreement, which we've begun engaging with some of the city staff on, so hopefully that will be coming to council at some point in the near term. As Brett mentioned, the site can only accommodate about 10 parking spaces, but we'll need more to allow folks that live there to park, so we made a request for 60 spaces in that lot to the north on Wendell Way that's, I think, leased in part by the Sheraton, and the city owns that lot, I believe. So we put that request in, and then just in general, any sort of support that you could offer to the project, whether it be through a resolution, support letters, anything that you can do will really make the project stand out in the eyes of the state, knowing that, you know, you were involved, you're an important partner in the project. So I think, yeah, so I think that's it for our presentation, and you know, any questions, happy to answer. You can always reach out to us separately as well.
Solar?
Yeah, as much as feasible. So there's also going to be some HVAC equipment on the roof that we'll have to work around, obviously. So yeah, we would plan on maximizing the amount of solar we can do. It, you know, it's a great benefit to the project, not only in the green and energy portion of it, but it's good for the operating expenses.
The 18 units, are we looking at like just for like one person, or would it be like maybe, you know, mom and some kids, or how big are they going to be?
So it's a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom units. So a 2-bedroom unit can meet a household of 4 under the HUD standards of household size with bedrooms, the number of bedrooms. And we'll have a mix of both 1 and 2 bedrooms for that space. And children, of course, are welcome.
Using, like, far as the criteria for those who, like, what qualifies someone to actually, you know, how you're going to be choosing these residents?
Yep, so I'm actually in the midst of doing rent up right now for a project called the Lyceum in the city of Buffalo that has the 12 set-aside units as well. So what we look for, they're not a part of a lottery. So typically when you have a marketing phase, you would do a lottery for all of the other units. But when you have supportive set-aside units, they don't have to be part of that lottery. So what happens is I have supportive housing staff. When the referral comes to us, either internally, because we offer domestic violence supports, if the referral comes to us, we do a screening, and the screening is this person in a good place? Are they separated from their perpetrator? Are they on their healing journey? And are they ready to accept supports that we're able to offer? Maybe it's financial literacy, maybe it's technology, maybe it's just emotional well-being, trauma-informed care, we're there to provide that. So we make sure that the person is in a good place, and we do that by doing a number of screening questions to see where they're kind of at in their stage. And then based off of that, if our domestic violence program support staff say this person is in a really good place, it gets moved over to our apartment manager who looks for income eligibility. Do they meet the standards under tax credit housing and so forth, to make sure that they actually have the ability and the income to move in? And then they follow suit from there. So as soon as their application is complete and we do all of the mandated regulations, then we can say, all right, well, this person is ready to move into unit 203. But there's a couple other things, so that the screening, so the eligibility portion of it, we seek to get a referral. Obviously, we can be our own referral source because we provide that support, but we have a lot of partnerships with like Pinnacle Community Services, our Homeless Coalition, Hawnee, who receives a lot of inquiries regarding DV support set-asides. So we utilize our community organizations, the county, to take on those referrals, but that screening will happen.
And will it be exclusive to Niagara Falls residents only? I'm sorry, only, right?
So the property can be to anyone who applies, but typically what you see is people who want to live in their community. So it's open to anyone who moves into the community or is looking to move into the community. We wouldn't say, oh, you're not a Niagara County resident, but the majority of people who do apply to live in any of our units are typically from their community.
Because you're looking to get funds from the American Rescue Plans as well. So, and that's one of my things that I speak on often, because those funds, especially being utilized from a city standpoint, we're pulling funds away from, and you guys are going to be pretty much in a state area. You're kind of like on the First and Old Falls. That's state. Get as much money from the state as you want, but when you're coming from, you're asking for the city for money, I would hope that it really is more exclusivity when it comes down to residents actually staying in that space from our city, because those funds really are supposed to help our city. So I'd hate for Buffalo and Rochester and other people to get this big idea that this new space is available, and all of a sudden we're gonna pile people up, and then our people that live here find themselves missing out. So, I mean, I think it's a nice plan. I would just hope that kind of be taken under consideration.
One thing that I'll say on the marketing and the rent up, so we obviously had to do a marketing plan, and once you get to the process of being fully funded, you have to market to the communities within your surrounding areas. So the Niagara Falls community, especially if there is a demographic that we feel that needs the housing here. So the marketing plan will speak to the organizations that we'll reach out to in Niagara County, how we can say we're right here in your community. And that's what I can say about the marketing portion of it.
I used to work at Pinnacle, and I dealt with different organizations around, so I know it's a need. I mean, we have homeless people literally. It's out of control. So if it's something that can help our people here, then I'm for it. As long as we're keeping our people first.
Thank you.
But actually, to that point, you mentioned homeless, because it talks about the 50, 60, 80% median. Will there be this isn't a homeless shelter, is it?
It's not a homeless shelter. No, it is not. So there's income eligibility. So I did include it in your packet. That kind of breaks down like the type of workforce that may be able to afford to live in the nest. And when you do tax credit housing, it needs to be broken down to affordability for the people who are making in that 50% income, the 60% income and higher. So this one, this proposal is mixed income. So it's not just all 50, it's not just all 60, it's not just all 80, it's definitely a variety of incomes who would live here.
And along the same line, because you make the statement to ensure long-term affordability, there will be a pilot necessary. You may not have the numbers now, but is there someone who would have those numbers to see how that works out and just that long-term sustainability? Is that-
Sure, for the pilot agreement, you're speaking to?
Yeah, no, we have all of those projections that show cash flow over 40 years. So the thing about these tax credit projects is that, you know, the operating expenses, those aren't limited, those aren't capped. They operate the same as market rate apartments do, but the rent that you can charge is limited. So, you know, when we say we have a unit that's set aside for folks earning up to 50% of AMI, those tenants can only pay up to 30% of their income for rent. So that rent level is capped to say that somebody who qualifies for a 50% unit, you know, won't pay more than 30% of their income, because that's how high the rent is capped at. So those income caps will kind of limit the amount of cash that comes into the project. So they typically don't cash flow that strongly, and our state financing agency will limit the amount that you can have. So we do have those numbers so that we can share.
Thank you for presenting. Okay. Public speakers on agenda items?
Mrs. Jacqueline Pryor.
Sorry. Interesting. I usually try to put my name at the end, so I'm the only one on the list. But anyway, I put all for the agenda items. It's very interesting that I came today because I haven't been around much. But this Nest project is right next to my church, First Presbyterian Church. I'm a member. Yes, and it's a lot of issues with this project. First of all, I don't even understand why you're trying to put apartment units in a tourist area, okay? It doesn't match. So what I know about this city is that this is what it'll start out to be, but that ain't what it's gonna end up to be. Also too, oh wait, but they just did the presentation, so I'm speaking on that, because you let them speak, so I'm speaking on it. Okay, so that's a community?
To speak with them after, if they're still here, that would be up to you, but that's technically.
Well, when people do presentations, you should, have a gap for people to talk about that right now. You know what I mean? Because I got other things to talk about that's going on in the city.
Discuss that, but currently there is not that. So if you have something on the agenda.
Also, wait, they'll be interested in hearing what I got to say.
No administrative update. Danny, anything from Controller's report? Next meeting. Okay, community happenings.
Yeah, this Saturday at the Niagara Falls High School is Hands Healing Heroes. It's the 10th anniversary of it's a veterans group that does a nice thing for any veteran in the area. They come in, they give them a free meal, they give them a basket raffle, they give them everyone's welcome to stop by, buy raffle tickets and stuff like that. It's a really nice event. They give the veterans haircuts and massages. It's a real good event, something that Dr. Christian Jacobs has been running for the last 10 years. At the Niagara Falls High School, 12 to 4, I believe it is.
Two community happenings. The first one is on Saturday at 11 a.m. It's a clean slate discussion. For those who've been convicted, they're going to be discussing how to work with those who have been convicted, trying to integrate them and just have that discussion. So that's going to be at Word of Life at 11 a.m. on Saturday. And the second one is not so much as it's a happening, but it's not an event, and it's something, we don't have it on the agenda, but I think it's a good time to discuss it now. One, I want to take care of our senior and fixed income community. I believe that's very important. Flowing that down to our youth, we should be taking care of our youth, making sure they have activities, things for them to do. But a more acute problem that we have, and I think we can, as a community, we can work to solve it together quickly, is our SPCA, our four-legged friend furry friends problem. We all received an email regarding that the latest of that situation, and it's actually my worst nightmare come true regarding what the council voted on regarding the pit chick. I visited that site myself, actually yesterday, and we got an email from it, and I'll leave the person nameless, but just a quote from their perspective, what an awful situation. It is absolutely unacceptable, and we can work together to find the best solution. But that's my quote, but she said, she was just discussing of how bad the situation was in this situation with our animals. And I believe we should take care of our animals, our seniors, youth, and the animals that's roaming around. People get hurt, people get injured. A lot of things going on. So if there's anybody who likes to volunteer or who wants to help or has an idea, please feel free to email me. I'll take on that lead to really get this situation solved. Not a Band-Aid, not some half-baked idea, but taking the time to really make sure we have a solution to get it taken care of so we can be safe, the animals can be safe, and we can move forward with that. Thank you.
To kind of piggyback off of that, because I read the same email, because one of the dogs basically that was roaming around ended up getting hit by a car and dying. And I have a dog. And I understand, like, you know, some people may look at dogs, oh, they're just animals. They're like family when you have, if you have one and you raise them and you treat them right, they become like a part of your family. So with that being the case, if there is, so I will kind of second that, you know, motion of, like, if there's a way that we can come, you know, together as a community, put all of our differences aside and understand that, you know, that is, I mean, right now it may not look like, you know, because once SPCA is done and over with, then we'll start seeing where the real problems will start lying, because people are still breeding dogs and some people are still losing them. Some dogs are being let loose, and when there's nowhere to place them, then that's when, you know, that's when this council room will get full up. And then we'll be expected to make some type of, you know, miracle happen.
Part of this issue is lack of dog control officers. We only have one, can't be on 24/7 because, you know, he has a life too, which is something we might have to look at in the budget of putting on a second animal control officer. Because that's what happened with that dog, is when he was running around, there was nobody on duty. It was on the weekend, there was nobody on duty to, you know, go take care of the dog. Because, you know, a police officer's not trained to be a dog control officer. Right. The ones that are the dog control officers, they go out and they get specialized training. So we may have to look at that and putting a second one on there, because, you know, we all see the complaints. We all say, I know that there was just a dog shot and killed because he attacked 2 people in LaSalle. So, I mean, there's definitely, when the call came in, there's nobody on duty to take care of the animal. So we, as a council, and it's our duty with the budget, we may have to look at, to address this situation, we might have to throw a little money at it.
Would us not having SPCA available, is that going to lower?
SPCA never had an animal control officer that came to Niagara
Oh,
Falls.
no, the office. I'm just talking about the space. Is Pit Chick, are they taking over this building where SPCA was?
No, SPCA is a separate entity. They're a Niagara County entity. They own their building. They own their facility. Their thing was that their mission statement isn't to take and store our animals. So they're going back to their mission statement, which is Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Mm-hmm. So they're going to take in the animals from the townships and stuff like that are being abused out there. It could be horses, goats, chickens, whatever. The pit chick, I know the mayor was looking for over a year for a solution. She's small. She feels she can, but through us, we're helping her expand. We're going to kind of grow with her to see if we can create this great partnership to move it. And right now, her facility is small, but there are 31 more kennels on order that are coming in, and that will almost triple the size of the facility. So it's not perfect. We know it's not perfect. We had to do something. The SBA said it was done. The contract was actually expired, I believe, in August. So we had to do something. And like I said, it's not something that you can just go and say, hey, do you want to be our animal control people? Because it's just not out there. I know Erie County didn't want them. They went around to other places. People didn't want to do the animal, it's an issue kind of everywhere, you know, but it's very prevalent here right now because people like to, like I say, they like to get dogs, they like to breed dogs, and they don't take care of the dogs. You know, the poor thing that happened in LaSalle, I know the person that actually shot the dog is sick, just totally sick about it because it's the last thing in the world. He's a dog owner, it's the last thing in the world, but a handicapped person got bitten up pretty good, and, you know, he actually got chased down and the dog was biting at him before he, you know, shot him. You know, so that's something though, seriously, it's a concern that we may have to look at in the budget, that we may have to say, hey, we want a second animal control officer, because one person, I mean, our old animal control officer was amazing. He really was. He's a huge animal lover. This new one is an animal lover as well. He wouldn't take that position if he weren't. But we can't expect him 24/7, 365. You know what I mean? That's not right for anybody. So something we may have to look at.
And to your point, well taken, but that's where it goes back to that resolution and looking at the cost of was that an effective way to spend that money. Again, it comes from me, it's always down to the taxpayers' money of how we're spending it. Was it planned? Did we take into account we may need another person? That's the kind of question that should have been asked and followed through before we went to this person. We should.
If you've been having discussions with the mayor all along, you would have known. He had come here many times and talked to us many times. I'm sure, David, you're aware that we got an issue. It's coming. We got an issue, and they have been working on it. But like I say, it just started, so we have to give it a little bit of space, and let's see, you know, how it rolls out. If we have an issue, we make the changes. But right now, we literally just got into the contracts. We got to give them a chance to, you know, step up and see what they do.
So, I guess, no. It's a happening. It's not something that, but within the community, it's within our high school. I am very excited, very proud to say, it's a couple of people that I've networked with, and they're connected with Cornell University and Stanford University. So on the 27th of this month, starting in our high school, there will be from Stanford University in California, that school will actually be teaching artificial intelligence courses and computer science courses by Stanford Fellows. And every child that passes those courses, not only will they get college credits for those courses, but they get college credits on a Stanford University transcript that they can use at any school that they go to. So, and one of the big things that I like about it is that their main target is at-risk students, those who have been suspended often, those who have been kind of like, because what happens is, and I always say this, we need to give our kids other alternatives. And we can't expect, you know, we can't practice insanity, keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So that course will be starting in our Niagara Falls High School campus on September 27th. So
Pretty exciting. It really is. It's really exciting.
excited about it.
Does that go the whole school year?
Yeah, it goes in sections, so within a few months.
Gotcha.
I mean, look at what other schools have done with robotics.
Right,
The next step from there. You know?
right, and we just got to catch
Bless
up. Bless you. And we got to, we definitely got to catch up. I mean, sometimes we're behind. COVID, bless you again. Sometimes we, you know, COVID taught us how far behind we were when you wanted to go to church or you wanted to go to a doctor's appointment and you didn't know how to use Zoom. Then we had to ask these young people, how do you use this, right? So I think the thing about it is understanding that like these kids are they're no longer our future, they're our present. We need to start like finding out where they are, where they stand now, so we can actually catch up as you know, an older population. So I'm excited about that. So that's happening.
Good stuff. Review the agenda items.
Agenda item number 1. Agenda item number 2. Agenda item number 3.
In regards to agenda item number 3, maybe this is a question. It's sort of code enforcement related, not necessarily to this position, but it's just a code enforcement body in general. I know we don't have the mayor and administrator, but maybe someone, maybe Mr. Du Bois, maybe can answer. Do we know the process of if a code enforcement officer condemns a building, is there something involved, do legal get involved with that at all? In terms of how to shut it down from an owner or anything like that? Do you know anything with that legally?
It's possible that the law department could be involved in that scenario, but that's not the agenda item.
Okay, so, I have a question, and I don't know if this is a part of this agenda item as well, but, as per the city charter, because we're talking about positions that are going and being filled, the new director of code enforcement, I don't know if it's true or not, but I would like to know if he's, code certified, because as per,
They get
yes.
18 months to become certified.
So they have 18 months?
They have
but
18 months to
But
be
they can
certified.
actually take a position?
Yes, we dealt with this in the Dice administration, Seth McGrill, code enforcement. He had 18 months to get his certification. Because
Okay.
we did the same question
Right.
a few years back.
Oh,
No,
okay.
they have time to get their certification.
Okay.
Agenda item number 4.
Question in regards to this one, I know I had asked in regards to some of the original contract for 4 and 5, or 6, no, yeah, 4. Do we have the, I mean, we get the contract from engineering, I told them.
It was up on the desk. It's all up on the desk a few days ago. Yeah, Monday, I think it was there.
Well, we were told that, so that probably should have been answered, but we have the original.
There's like 3 big documents up there on the desk.
On the city council desk?
On the, where our administrative assistant is. Can't miss them. They're big.
Agenda item number 5. Agenda item number 6. Agenda item number 1. Approval of second-hand dealers.
Move it. Call the roll.
Councilmember Colley?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Councilmember Tompkins? Yes. Chairman Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the item has been approved. Item number 2, city clerk claims for the month of August 2023 is received and filed. Agenda item number 3, approval of temporary administrative assistant in the Code Enforcement Department.
Move it. Call the roll.
Councilmember Colley?
Yes.
Yes.
Very glad to see it being proactive on this. We're going to lose a lot of knowledge when she retires. I vote yes.
Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the item has been approved. Agenda item number 4, approval of change order number 1 in the contract to Urban Engineers of New York for consultant services for Military Road, Cayuga Drive improvements.
Move it. Call the roll.
Councilmember Colley?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Councilmember Tompkins?
Yes.
Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the item has been approved. Agenda item number 5, approval to settle and pay personal injury lawsuit of Sarfraz Raza in the amount of $40,000.
Move it. Call the roll.
Councilmember Colley?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Councilmember Tompkins?
Yes.
Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the item has been approved. Agenda item number 6, resolution relative to the standard work day and reporting resolution.
Move it. Call the roll.
Councilmember Colley?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Councilmember Tompkins?
Yes.
Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the resolution has been approved.
Speakers for the good of the community?
Yes. Gerald Skirlin?
Good evening, I'm Gerald Shkudley. I live at 162 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls. I have been participating in these events for approximately 20 years, maybe a little less than that, not more. And as you notice, I'm winding down my participation. It's like retiring, you know, there are others coming up that can take over, but if I say something like that, it's like I'm here on a mission. But believe me, most of you, if not all of you, participate in these events because you feel that you have some kind of mission that you are working for. And when we all work together for the same goals, then we can do like I did on page number 2, right? I just erased it all, you know, item number 2 in my speech. Don't need to talk about it. I don't need to talk about item number 2. Sorry, this microphone. But
Folks, if you could keep any side conversations to a minimum. We're having a hard time hearing from the podium. I think that's as high as it goes, I would imagine. That's
closer to it. Yeah, it's an old mic. Yeah. Okay. Number 3, politics. I'm a political science. I'm a professional political science, you know. People ask me questions all the time. I give them answers too. I have written here, it says, listen to the voice of experience. Now tonight I'm very surprised to hear Mr. Tompkins giving some very good advice, and I know it comes from experience, talking about the SPCA and what he's been through these years. And of course, we are all under the understanding that you all have the honor of being councilmen, members, and that's honorable. You know, we don't need to criticize that. Which is why I left number 2 blank, so you didn't have to say anything bad about anybody. Okay. Why do we have our problems? Well, I believe the real, or the basic reason why we have problems in our society is because it's a class war. We have haves, we have have-mores, and we have the have less, or the haves less, and the haves nothing. And historically, throughout history, government has relied upon taking as much as they can from the lower classes to the points where they become overburdened. And that is perhaps the main reason why we have deviation and killings and murders and misunderstandings in our society. And if I'm like 50, 60, 70, 100 years ahead of the time, well, I wish it would go quicker, because I heard Mr. Miles talking about the benefits that people are now receiving. Some people would say, oh, that's not fair because we worked hard all our life. Well, sorry about that, but we cannot see people homeless in the streets. We cannot see people in ignorance and losing their homes because they don't have the idea or what it is. If your house is condemned, what you can do. My friend, when they condemned his house, they wouldn't even let him back in to try to clean it up. I spoke about that for many years. But anyway, we're heading into new dynamics in politics. You know, things are changing, times are changing. 1 minute left. Oh, can I add that to my minutes coming up in the next one? I don't want to talk anymore, but I can waste a few. I'm not waste, I can say a few things. I don't want to talk anymore. I'm retiring. Thanks, Ken, for the friendship you showed me. Thank you all.
Chris Smith?
Hello. My name is Chris Smith. I live at 1890 Niagara Avenue. I live in the city my whole life.
Chris, I want you to can you pull the microphone down for you? Thank you.
Shorts. Well, for once, could I have a moment of silence for the over 1 billion African lives lost in the past 450 years of the Atlantic slave trade, colonization, national oppression, and suppression? I understand the city wants to keep killing black people because this is a black city, and you guys are the problem. They are putting acid in the roads. None of you care. It's common sense, unless you have a brain tumor at birth. They're filling the sewer manholes with garbage. The city, the trucks, every single night. You go on, you see them, they're all filled on top. You guys are the problem. Fix the problem. That's been going on forever. Hardcore. Think any of you care about anything. You're all the problem. Fix it. Acid in the roads, it's disgusting. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. It's been going, it's hardcore the last so many years. When they dug up 18th Street a few months ago, whatever, not that long ago, but when you could only drive on one side of the road, over by my house on Niagara Avenue, West and South Cleveland, all these areas, they put extra acid down because you can only drive, so you got to destroy your cars. It destroyed my car, killed my dog. He remembers my dog. My dog was better than all you combined. He helped me. He was helping me fix the city. He helped me promote history to show love. And he's dead because of everything. The city stole my stuff off of my property. The cops, the vets, you can have some pictures, but you guys don't pay me for this. This is my own money. And it's just like, yeah, it may not be a big deal, but it is a big deal. This is what the roads are. I'll give you the pictures, but I expect them back because, I still need proof of certain things because, you know what, you guys don't do nothing. I'm the auditor, I guess you could say, for the city work, but nobody cares. The people care, but, even this picture alone, it's like they're blocking me because they destroyed my car. I can't have on a bike, a scooter, this and this and that, and go to my mom's house, about the only spot that I go. They're filling the manholes, though, for real. It's everywhere. And the glass is just pushed to the side, these city, whatever, at night, they just push it. They don't sweep it up. That's just insane. But, besides just that, they just, this picture. I have pictures, like I said. You can have these. I expect them back, but this, boom, it's sticking out. And it got destroyed over there. I think it was Whitney or Lacelle at 24th Street, and it was there for months. They did it in front of my house for months. Here, just a little bit wear and tear will destroy your axle. Destroy my my $40,000 car, $20,000 damage. You know what? Yeah, I don't want to drive my car no more. Why? Because you know what? The city workers are doing this, and you guys are allowing this. I tell you, it's common sense. It's all common sense. Everyone, the entire world is to destroy black people. Everything is to destroy black people, to make you suffer as much as you possibly can. I said that 25 years ago. I told my one friend, I'm just a casualty of war. I'm just a white man living in a black neighborhood, got to deal with this. And this is 25 years ago. And it was disgusting then, but it's like every year since then, and I pay attention more and more and more and more and more and more. Go down these streets, you can see these sewer manholes, whatever, because I call the public works, they hang up the phone on me, the police hang up the phone on me, everyone hangs up the phone on me, they beat me to a pulp, and it's just like, hey, you know what, they're going to stop me somehow, you know what, I didn't expect to get called up today, because that's happened many times. But like I said, I want, I can give you some pictures, but I do expect some of them back, certain ones, but this is what's happening in the streets. Part of the streets, I can get a lot more, but, this is my time, and I do a lot, and there's certain things that I try to do, even within the black community, I do, and there's only so much I can do when the cops are arresting me, losing my job, I can't pay for certain things. I don't have no money. I don't mind working for the system, but there's only so much you can do when I see things on 22nd and Pierce. When you see a sinkhole the size of a head, and they dig up the entire street at 7 p.m., and I go back there 2 hours later, so I go to my mom's house, and the entire street is dug up, 4 feet deep, and I recorded it all. I go to jail. I lose my job. Maybe not lose it, but I lost it for 5 or 6 months. I got to go get it back, I guess. But like, I've told you asked it a while ago. It should have been taken care of a long time ago.
Jacqueline Pryor.
Is this good of the community? Hello? Hi. All right, are we going to get to the agenda too? Yes or no? Yes?
No, it's good to the community.
And then that's it for tonight?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll talk about this project since I can't talk about the good of the community. But I am a member of First Presbyterian Church. And like I said, this project is ridiculous. This is the South End Initiative project that's going on, and all this fighting is going on for people who are domestic violence. That's the tourists. That'd be the first place somebody will go. What are you talking about? Okay? Let's get realistic. And that ain't the only project they got for housing. Also, too, for First Presbyterian Church, they're butted like that to our building. There is no way you can do any demolition without tearing up our building, and we are a historical site. We also came to the city for the Bell, tower that I granted them, and we are under state trying to get a grant also, okay, which was approved. But it ain't no way they're not going to get no lawyer to protect their interest like the state person suggested. You can't do it. The only thing that you can do to that building is gut it out and then do something, or let the church buy it. But the whole thing is, who knows about all this? Also, too, let's not get it twisted. These buildings will be set up to be like this, but in the long run, it'll be Niagara University. Niagara University just took 300 and something people. What they gonna do with all these students? They never had housing, but they get big in housing. They big in everything else. You have councilmen up having Niagara University gear on when they talking about the council. All this washing hands, all this, if you're in a planning board, get with somebody on city council to ask them, do they want something? And then they go on the zoning board and they get approved. It'll be you'll see what is coming up. You'll see how people leave council, then they employed at the hospital, and then they get $225,000, okay? Let's stop playing. I wore this shirt. Actually, the shirt cost me a lot of money, but extra $22 because I lost it trying to put it in my pocket. But I've been dealing with this community development for 7 years, okay? And also, too, this property they talking about and stuff like that, that was purchased in 2022 when everything was supposed to be shut down, when nobody was supposed to even be able to buy buildings down there. Remember that? Is that still going on? Stop playing these people. Stop acting like y'all don't know what's going on. It's not good. And congratulations, Mr. Tompkins, and being a teacher and being in a union and having a great life. Everybody don't get a chance to have a good life, okay? Everybody don't get carports and okayed from the zoning board. Everybody on a planning board don't get to own historical sites, okay? Then people got to fight for what? To keep their property? When you're saying something like the gentleman said, then you get arrested, you get accosted. Y'all remember, like in January, when I called y'all, y'all probably thought I was crazy, but I wasn't, right? That was that gaslighting stuff, right? But if you ain't got a money to get a lawyer or whatever, none of y'all did nothing about it. Not a one. So what? I got a minute and 8 seconds. I'm going to stand up here for this minute so you can review my shirt that cost me a lot of cash today that I don't got. But just for, purposes, and so people can ask me. I know. No, you got 1 minute to watch this. So, Have a good day.
How are you, everybody? Yeah, I've been in this city for 27 years. I never attend meetings, but today I have a problem about my vacation rentals because the website compliance, it doesn't work. Try, my kids try, they have 2 degrees, 3 days after, no answer. Also, they send you after 5 days another refer to another website, which is called Granices. Okay, you go there, and I tell you, I don't know if anybody will understand. I didn't. I start my own business. I'm actually the first person who officially in 2003, officially with the city and other institution opened vacation rental. So, but I did my business, I started the law, I started the English. This is like the first city where I start everything. So that other website, it needs to be genius to go there and apply for your license renewal, actually. So I did email all you guys, Mr. Zakas, Miles, Tompkins, on September 7, no answer. So I just need to know because I never had a problem with the city officials, law, or any institution. I did everything right. So I don't know where to go to renew my license. It's very complicated. Like, I know it's very complicated. So like I said, I did start 2 businesses, 3 actually. I still work for 2 companies. I do emails, I do my banking, everything online, and I know how to do it. Here, it's very complicated. So we have to make something better for people like that. So, because not just me who maybe do not understand English that 100%, maybe somebody else, maybe like call to the office and office say, oh, we don't know anything. Other people have problem. And I talk to the people, everybody have problem with this website. Who create, I don't know. I actually miss the old time when you come to the city and just talk to the person and give check and, you know, I know it's not gonna be going back, but something has to be done for this because I waste like probably 2 days actually, and I'm a very busy person. I don't have to. I pay my bank in 2 seconds. I cannot pursue the payment. Go there for days, circle, 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 and nothing happened. All right.
Venetia's website, because that's what she's dealing with.
Who called?
I'm talking to our law department. When you're dealing with the Granicius website, that's who you're dealing with. Your email was sent to the proper channels to code enforcement. They were going to be checked on. We have a member of the administrative team here. We'll have him check on it again tomorrow.
Why do we have to like go through all these complications? Why the first website do not work?
Answer it because we don't deal, that's a day-to-day dealings, which is dealt with through code enforcement, but we will try to get to the root of the problem, and maybe we have to find another vendor.
Yeah, maybe because like we do have a lot of question about the vacation rentals, and we do have a lot of vacation rentals. Maybe we can have some like once a week person who is know those things. Hey, if you have Monday, Tuesday from 3 to 5, call this number and we can answer your question.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
We will definitely bring forward.
Yeah, thank you.
Great idea.
Thank you.
If you just hang out, I
Granicus, I heard we got an update from Granicus yesterday, and I was supposed to meet with Mazer today. Mr. Du Bois, did he give you any information regarding the Granicus dashboard? Are you proficient with that to give me information, or I was supposed to meet with Mazer today? He may not have mentioned that, but would you happen to be familiar with Granicus information yourself? I am not. Okay. Yeah, tonight, he was supposed to, and I haven't heard from him, so I didn't, I hope he's okay. But we were supposed to meet after the meeting and get I was supposed to, the dashboard and everything, inner workings of Granicus, but I haven't heard from him, so it was supposed to be tonight after the meeting, so.
Really quick, something that I'm hoping that we can actually bring to the table at some point, because I remember we were talking about revisiting the STR ordinance after a year, and we're over the year now. And I was totally opposed to really crunching this zone into just one specific space. And it's so like such a cookie cutter type situation, where I think it would be fair, especially for those people, and I've dealt with a lot of people in the community, people who actually bought properties for that right before this zone started taking place, that at the bare minimum, for some way for us to actually expand that. I don't think it's a problem. First one, we haven't had any level of true success as it pertains to, Granicus, as it pertains to, this zone. It hasn't shown any real, heavy effectiveness as it pertains to our city. So one of the things that I was thinking, and we can do it in small portions, because I see it's on 19th Street, but I'm like, are we really gonna have tourism on 19th Street in Ashland? Are we really gonna have?
Maybe we revamp the zone and drop some areas and add some others.
No, I'm talking about just open it up and let's make it like, if we're gonna do it in that area, why don't we just make it from Hyde Park all the way down? So that's just, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Draw it up.
But I figured I'll put it out here.
Bring it forward.
Out in the open so we can, you know what I mean? Two, because I've been, and because I know we talked about discussing from the previous meetings or something, just really quick, it's only gonna take me 2 minutes. As per, and this is for those people who actually watch, our meetings and everything like that. So at our last meeting, and I'll speak for myself, others have gotten calls or whatever the case is. However, let me give my disclaimer. Since I've been in office, I have been a heavy supporter of our NFPD. That's my disclaimer. I have no issue with the NFPD as far as what they do and how they operate. With that being said, my vote, let me just kind of like give some clarity. If anyone, and that's anyone watching or anyone in here, has a question or a concern about a vote of mine, it's best to come talk to the horse's head. Don't send my guy, but don't call Ezra, don't call anybody else, and I'm just making it really clear, because I'm very approachable. I voted, so let me tell you why I voted the way I voted last week. I don't believe in check boxing. I don't believe in box checking. So with this grant that was put out for detectives, hotspots, and things like that, it was said that they had a community engagement piece that's connected to it. I was a part of a community group by the name of the Niagara Falls Peacemakers. I was actually, at 1 year, I was a president of that group, and we reached out to the heads of our police department to try to collaborate. We wanted to collaborate because we didn't want police officers, especially those who weren't aware of like the dynamics of specific portions of our city, to come and, like, if kids are getting ready to fight or something like that, instead of coming and arresting our young black and brown men and young boys and stuff, to reach out to us. Collaboration. We didn't want any money. We didn't ask for any support or any help. We just wanted to connect and collaborate, because for me, I felt like that's, and so you call us, and then 5 or 6 of our men in our organization go talk to these young people. That's how we start. People who are closer to the problem are closer to the solution. So that was my idea. So for me, but what happened is we kind of got shunned away from the heads of our department at that time. So for me, when I see a grant and it says we're going to have this, but I noticed that we didn't get that kind of cooperation, or we didn't get that kind of connection, I say I'm not going to vote yes on something to just check a box and say, oh, well, we have this, a part of it. You get what I'm saying? So with that being the case, that was my personal perspective. Now, it still went through, and that's good. But you know what? I mean, and unfortunately, this, the write-up in our paper, had to try to get some, energy in a failing paper of ours. Okay? If you want to know something concerning me, especially if you're here, come and see me. You don't have to, because then you'll wonder why I won't answer any type of calls or whatever. So and this is for anybody who's watching. There's cameras in here, so I'm quite sure there are people who are watching tonight. I'm very approachable. I always explain my reasoning for why I vote however I vote. Come see me. Don't come and go reach out to my parents or my godbrother or people that you think that's going to come, because that's not how things work here. I was the one that was voted in. I'm 20%. I'm your city councilman. If I vote on something specific, come and see me, because I think that's fair, because I don't answer to anybody else. I'm accountable to God and my constituents. Come see me. But that's my reason, because I don't want us to keep voting on stuff and then not seeing results, because I still see people continuously going. There's still situations that are not taken care of in specific portions of the community. So overall, if you have any questions on any vote, yes, no vote, whatever the case is, the best thing to do is come and talk to me. There's no one else that you can bring to me that's going to try to sway who I am. It's best to talk to the horse's head. So that was from last week. So that's my portion of last week, because I think we want to be fair around here. And again, I'm very approachable. Talk to me. I support our local PD. I did a whole drive-through, a ride around with Officer Gonzalez. I always talk about the crappy conditions that their cars had, and how behind we were. That's why I was okay being an advocate of these new cars and new systems and things that are in there. But my thing is that there is another level that comes along with it. Again, there has to be a balance. I don't want our streets to be heavily policed. We should be able, if there's a way that we can start connecting community, then let's do it. You know what I mean? But that was my reason. So that's me speaking on last week's vote, because I feel like, you know what I mean, it wasn't from people. Any officer, I'm very open. Reach out to me. I have over about 3,000 palm cards out in the city that has my number on it. I promise you, it's the same number. It's this number right here. Everything that I campaigned on, go to my page, Facebook, all of that other stuff. Come and see me. That's the best way to get answers. That's all I have.
Perfect. Good. All right, thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned. Did say our meetings are still live streamed, but they're having